kapwa ko Pilipino. Ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilantad ang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko. Para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na at huwag magpatalo. Ipagdiwang natin ang Pilipino. Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ang bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulo, sumbesibay, lakay, amiga. Sama-samang pakita, ang galing natin katropa. Sa kapwa ko Pilipino.
Mataas ang sikat ng araw sa isang napakagandang umaga dito po sa Subic Bay. Para nating pagsikat ng araw sa larangan ng sports. At yan ang ating hihimayin ngayong Sabado ng umaga sa inyong paboritong kasama sa almusal. E di paano? Bango na! Power and play na! Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat mga kapatid. Nagbabalik po ang Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum at ng Cherry Tigo. It's fun to drive. And we are coming to you live from the music room ng Asea Beach Resort in Subic Bay. At kami po ay nagpapasalamat muli sa Asea, sa pangunguna ng ating kaibigan, si Mr. Romel Sitin, and of course, ang kanilang events manager, si Melissa Corilla, and the rest of the staff ng Asea Beach Resort here in Subic Bay sa kanilang pagtanggap muli sa Power and Play. Magandang umaga po sa lahat ng ating tagapakinig sa Radyo 5, 92.3, News FM, and of course, sa ating pong mga nanonood sa 1PH on Signal TV, as well as those on live stream sa ating Facebook pages ng 1PH, Radyo 5 at ng Power and Play. Ang dami po natin pag-uusapan ngayong umagang ito. Ang dami natin kakausapin dahil nagbabalik na ang sports. Yes, sports is back mga kapatid, with the alert levels going down, the cases going down. Marami na pong pahintulot para maglaro na muli ang mga national teams at pati na ang collegiate sports. Kaya mamaya, makakausap natin mismo ang mga head coaches ng dalawang koponan sa UAAP, si Coach Derrick Pumaren at si Coach Jinno Manansala ng Lasalle at ng UST respectively. Mamaya din po, makakausap natin si Coach Tim Cone ng Barangay Ginebra dahil magbabalik na ang mga higante sa PBA. Yan po ang mga imports na papasok sa Governor's Cup. And talking about imports, we have an exclusive interview with one of those imports coming in sa Governor's Cup. Walang iba kundi si Jaylen Bond. Jaylen Bond ng Blackwater Bossing. Mamaya po yan sa ating In the Spotlight. Kaya napakarami nating tatalakayin. So, dyan lang kayo, tutok lang. At tayo magsisimula sa pamamagitan ng mga buod, ng mga balita sa palakasan sa Sports Weekly Highlights. Back in action na sa wakas si Kai Soto sa kanyang preseason debut sa National Basketball League o NBL. Nagpakita agad ng potensyal ang Pinoy teen prodigy na starter sa 91-87 overtime win ng Adelaide kontra Cairns. May 7 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist at isang block sa 17 minuto si Kai. Pumukol din siya ng isang crucial basket sa huling minuto ng regulation na nagbigay ng lamang sa 36ers. Congratulations Kai at tuloy-tuloy lang. Update din sa isa pa nating big man overseas. Pasok na sa national team ng Japan para sa 2023 FIBA World Cup si Matthew Aquino. Available para sa Akatsuki 5 si Aquino dahil holder siya ng Japanese passport. Kamakailan na lang, nga lang ay pumasok na rin siya sa B-League bilang local player. Nagsimula na nitong Lunes ang training camp ng Japan team na magpapatuloy hanggang sa November 25. Kasalukuyang world rank 35th ang koponan ng Japan. Dribble na tayo sa local basketball news. Simula na ngayon, araw ang inaugural ng PBA 3x3. 10 PBA teams at 3 guest teams ang magtutunggali sa panibagong handog ng Asia's oldest league. Hinati sa 3 pools ang mga koponan na magtatapat sa 6 na legs. Sa knockout playoffs ang ending ng tournament kung saan 100,000 ang naghihintay sa kampyon. Bukod sa kompetisyon, gagamitin ang PBA 3x3 para makabuo ng pool ng national team. Good news naman sa bowling. Nag-uwi ng 2 bronze medals ang mga kababayan nating mula sa 2021 International Bowling Federation World Championships. Podium finish parehas ang men's at women's teams ng bansa na lumaban sa Dubai. Bago yan, 2006 pa ang huling panalo ng bansa sa tournament nang manalo ng ginto ang ngayoy national team coach na si B-Boy Rivera. Ika nga ni Rivera, bronze feels like gold. Congratulations, Team Pilipinas! And speaking of national teams, magbabalik ensayo na ang ating mga atleta. Ay naku, napakagandang balita. Ito ay matapos aprobahan ng Philippine Sports Commission ang pagpapatuloy ng kanilang trainings na magsisimula na sa January 10, 2022. Pinaplansya na ng komisyon ang mga guidelines para siguradong ligtas ang ating national team members. May green light na rin ang training ng mga collegiate athletes na inaprubahan na ng Commissioner on Higher Education. O CHED, nako, salamat po. Maglalaro na mga kolehiyo. Nagpapaalala lang ang CHED na dapat masunod ang mga striktong health and safety protocols. Last but not the least, nako, player turned owner naman ang next item natin. Ibinahagi ni PBA veteran Alex Cabagnot sa philstar.com na siya na ang may-ari ng MPBL team ng Bacolod. Ang good news na yan para kay Kabaji, kasunod lang ng pagkakatrade niya sa Terra Firma Jeep. Ika nga ng 15-year veteran, one door closes, but another opens. At yan po ang mga buod ng ating sports weekly highlights. Muli po, magandang umaga sa inyo mula sa music room ng ASEA Subic Beach Resort dito po sa Subic Bay, at kami po ay nagpapasalamat muli sa lahat ng bumubuo sa ASEA. Of course, pinag-uusapan ang pagbabalik ng palakasan sa ating landscape. Well, malapit na ang Governor's Cup. Medyo naaantala ng konti dahil nagkaproblema ang mga ilang imports sa kanilang visa requirements and of course yung kanilang travel plans including quarantine protocols. Kaya po baka mga Disyembre daw magsisimula. Pero ngayon pala mga pinag-uusapan na dahil alam na natin kung sino ang mga imports na papasok. Isa po dyan of course ang matagal ng best import ng Governor's Cup, si Justin Brownlee, na siyang magre-reinforce sa Barangay Ginebra. Kaya po ang ating tatanungin sa ating pulso ng bayan, ito po ang ating pupulsohan sa pagbabalik ni Justin Brownlee, ang Ginebra pa rin ba ang team to beat sa Governor's Cup? Ulitin ko po yan dahil sa totoo lang, ang Ginebra ang defending champions ng Governor's Cup dahil hindi tayo naglaro ng Governor's Cup last season. So, ang tanong, sa pagbabalik ni Justin Brownlee, Ginebra pa rin ba ang team to beat sa Governor's Cup? Kung gusto niyo makilahok sa ating Pulso ng Bayan, mag-text lamang sa 0908-208-0629 o di kaya mag-post ng inyong mga komento sa aming Facebook page ng Power and Play, 1PH at ng Radyo 5. Mamaya po babasahin natin ang inyong mga komentaryo. Alright mga kaibigan, at this point, pasok na natin ang ating paboritong Fast Take. Ang Fast Take ay hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Tigo. It's fun to drive. Ngayong araw pong ito, medyo babaguhin natin ng konti ang ating Fast Take. Imbis na tayo magtatanong, tayo po'y magbibigay ng mismong posisyon o take dyan sa mga isyung bumabalot sa mundo ng sports. And of course, makakasama natin dito mga taong nasa likod ng balita ng sports, mga sports journalists na inyong sinusundan sa kanilang mga sari-sariling platform. At of course, mga balik fast takers din ang ating mga kasama ngayong umagang ito. Walang iba kundi si Ruben Terrado, si Ben Terrado at si Eros Villanueva ng Spin.ph. Magandang umaga, Ben and Eros. Good to have you back on the show.
Morning, Kom. Thank you po.
Morning, Kom.
Medyo iibahin natin ng konti ang ating style ngayong umagang ito because hindi kami magtatanong but instead magbibigay kami ng mga mismong posisyon natin dito. But before we go to that, how excited are you, Ben, sa pagsisimula ng college sports na tila hindi na mapipigil?
Ako, Kom, very excited, no? And finally, makakapanood na tayo ng mga college players. Alam mo, Kom, syempre, I feel bad also for the athletes, no? Lalo na yung mga collegiate players na ang tagal na tenga. Actually, parang 2 years ata silang nakatenga, no? So seeing na yung ating mga collegiate leagues are starting to take shape, na nagte-testing na nagba-vaccine na, and then ito na, nabubuo na. I'm so happy for them, and hopefully sana very soon makita na natin sila maglaro.
Talagang iniintay na ng napakaraming tao, napakaraming estudyante, and of course mga fans ng mga collegiate leagues ang pagbabalik ng college sports. Eros, national athletes are now also going to be allowed to start practices. Huli na ba tayo? Is this just right for us to catch up para sa Southeast Asian Games?
I think it's just right. We don't really. I think most of our athletes have been preparing naman over the past couple of years, even with the pandemic in full swing. So, I think it just formalizes yung like heavier training, change of pace. I think it's just right. It's just perfect. And lalo na paparating na nga po yung Southeast Asian Games.
And of course, tayo ang defending champions sa Southeast Asian Games. Kaya napakahalaga after a terrific performance in Tokyo. Mataas ang expectations ng ating mga mamamayan. And hopefully, our athletes can deliver in this beginning of training. Certainly will help our national athletes. All right, diretso na tayo sa ating fast take issues of the morning. Siyempre, ito ay mga patungkol sa inyong mga paboritong laro, especially ang basketball. Unahin natin ang ating unang take. Ito ang take natin mula sa Power and Play. Hindi makakabuti dahil nakaka-distract lang ang 3x3 sa upcoming conference ng PBA. I will begin with you, Ben. Yan ang take. Ano ang take mo? Go! You have 1 minute.
Kom, I think maraming questions on bakit nabuo itong 3x3 League. No? Sinasabi nila na this is a way na makadevelop ng 3x3 players. May mga nagsasabi din, baka dahil ito to compete with Jokes to Go 3x3. No? But ako, para sa akin, Kom, I think this is not a distraction. I think it's an excellent idea. I think ito is something that would add spice to the league, something new. But ang hope ko lang talaga, Kom, is it really serves its purpose, no? Which is to develop 3x3 players. Napansin ko lang kasi yung mga players ng 3x3 players sa PBA is more of the third stringers and mga reserve players, no, sa kani-kanilang mga team. And I hope this would be a start na parang a way to develop 3x3 players kasi we need full-time 3x3 players kasi ibang animal nga, sabi nila yung 3x3, no? And I think this would be a good step into the right direction na makabuo ng mga full-time 3x3 players in order for us to make it to the Olympics. So that's my take on it.
I love it. Ang ganda. I love the honesty. Ang ganda ng analysis and maliwanag na may mga alam itong si Ben tungkol dun sa 3x3 League ng PBA. Pero same issue. Ito ang take natin. Hindi makakabuti dahil nakaka-distract lang ang 3x3 sa upcoming conference ng PBA. Ano ang take mo? You have 1 minute, Eros. Go!
Kom, I don't think it's a distraction for the upcoming conference, and I think it would be unfair for the players na i-label siya as a distraction kasi first and foremost, the PBA 3x3 offers a great platform for players, both young and old. For the veterans and the displaced young talents, it gives them, I guess, a pathway back to the PBA if they're exposed and they show that they're still competent enough to play in the 5-on-5. And for those naman, for the young talents who want to boost their stock for the rookie draft, or who want to show or introduce themselves to the Filipino basketball community, it's a great playground. Um, I think it's also a much needed injection of change and innovation for the PBA, because a lot of that, especially, they've been hounded with controversies over the past couple of months with rumors of players heading to the B League, or one-sided trades in the perception of many people's eyes. The PBA has been rigid and one-dimensional for the most part, and with the PBA 3x3, you're giving people something to be excited about.
Well, I share your view, Eros, and of course, ikaw rin, Ben. I love the idea. I have nothing against giving players an opportunity again to use the PBA platform na makapaglaro, mabigyan ng trabaho, at mapakita ang kanilang galing na hindi pa sila ika nga ilaos at pwede pang ika nga mapunta sa PBA. Alam mo, hindi ko lang masyadong nagugustuhan is meron na nga meron na, tama si Ben, meron ng chooks to go na 3x3 league. At itong mga player na maglalaro dito, karamihan dyan, doon naggaling, naglaro din doon eh. So, sino ang dinidiscover natin? Now, there are new Phil-Amps coming in. That's great, that's great. That could have also been part of the 3x3 ng Chooks. I don't know, alam ko ang lalim ng problema sa ng ibang teams sa Chooks to go. Pero ang punto ko lang dito, sana ayusin muna ng PBA ang kanilang liga. There are so many things to do with the 5-on-5. Bago nila atupagin ang isa na namang proyekto na parang ginagawa na naman. Bakit kailangan pang magkaroon ng another league? But in terms of giving platforms, I'm all for it. Naalala ko lang kasi nung pinatay din ang PBL ng D-League. Alright, let's go to our second take of the morning. Ito ay tungkol sa ating big man na si Kai Soto na kanina ay napabalita natin. So ang aming take, malaki na ang in-improve ng opensa ni Kai Soto at handa na siya sa NBA. Ano ang take mo, Eros? You have 1 minute. Go!
Kom, I think it's a two-part answer. Yes, malaki na in-improve niya. No, hindi pa siya ready sa NBA. In terms of his improvements, I think he's better at embracing contact. He's hunting contact, actually. He still has a great feel for passing. Mas maganda na yung free throw shooting niya. He's better at moving off the ball, and he's more confident with his shot from outside. I guess defensively, isama mo na rin na he's better. He's a little more nimble at moving his feet. But andun pa rin yung problema kasi na nagpe-prevent him from making the NBA. Like, andun pa rin yung blown coverages on defense. He's still very inefficient with his mid-range, and he doesn't really have a lot of counters inside, like in the post. I think we have to get to a point someday or soon that Kai might not be an NBA level player, and that's fine. He could be a high-level international player. He could be a high-level contributor for Gilas Pilipinas. And he certainly has room to grow. He can always make the NBA, definitely. But there's no shame if he doesn't really. It's not the end-all be-all for a basketball player anyway.
I love it. Ang ganda ng take mo, Eros. I like that na very positive. Who wants the NBA anyway? I mean, as long as he can help Gilas. Same second take para sa iyo, Ruben. Ang aming take, malaki na in-improve ng opensa ni Kai Soto at handa na siya sa NBA. Anong take mo, Ruben? You have 1 minute. Go!
Kung doon sa sinabi mong malaki na ang in-improve ni Kai Soto sa opensa, I agree with that 100%. Nung nakita ko yung game niya no, sa preseason, I see really a good improvement, especially yung movement niya with the ball and even without the ball. No? Talagang talagang nag-improve. He has become a stretch 5. Talagang pinatunayan niya dun sa kanyang preseason game. It was really very impressive, no? But yung question about NBA, I mean, ako para sa akin, super layo pa. It's a process. It's a step into the right direction. Definitely, he can play in the big leagues, yung mga top-tier leagues in the world. But yung NBA, medyo sobrang layo pa. And I agree with Eros, no? Hindi rin naman kailangan talaga nating isipin na NBA ang patutunguhan ni Kai, no? Ang dami naman nandiyan liga. So, but I guess in terms of improvement talagang, I think Kai is in the right direction.
Excellent. Ang ganda rin yan. Alam natin, he is in the right direction. Yung programa ng Adelaide is good for him. Yung competition is good for him. And as you say, malayo pa nga. And I agree with that. Malayo pa, but bata pa naman si Kai. Plus the fact that, alam mo, as Eros said, hindi naman kailangan ng NBA ang ating maging maging target, basta makatulong siya sa national team, okay na okay na. Alam mo, nung araw, nag-post ako na Rudy Gobert is the peg. Ngayon, alam mo, and that's only on the defensive side. I'm not talking about the skills of Rudy Gobert. But ngayon, ang nakikita kong peg for Kai, sana si Evan Mobley. Kahit si Evan Mobley lang, pwede na di ba? Yung may galaw, tumatakbo, he's active, he's very mobile. Okay na sa akin. Kahit na Kai Mobley na siya pagdating niya after the Adelaide 36ers. All right, let's go to our third and final take of the morning. Ito ang pag-uusapan naman natin, another big man na naglalaro ngayon sa B-League ng Japan. Ang aming take ay tungkol kay Matthew Aquino na napili ng Akatsuki na maglaro sa Japan National Team. Mas mabuti pa para kay Matthew Aquino kung itutuloy na niya ang paglalaro sa Akatsuki 5 kaysa sa Gilas, Pilipinas. Ano ang take mo, Ben? You have 1 minute. Go!
I think yung chance to play for the Japan national team is something that Matthew Aquino should grab, no? In my opinion, honestly, Matthew hasn't really, hindi talaga niya nakukuha pa yung mga breaks that he would have wanted dito sa Pilipinas. And I think he is not even into a strong consideration sa Gilas Pilipinas, no? So every time you get an opportunity to play for the national team like this one, dapat talagang i-grab na. So I think it would just be beneficial for Matthew Aquino, no? He would get a lot of training, the competition would be good for him, yung training na matatanggap niya would be really for the best para sa kanya. So I think it's a very wise move, no, to choose to play for the Japan national team rather than Gilas kasi nga mas may opportunity doon at honestly speaking medyo mahirapan siya if he plays for Gilas Pilipinas.
All right. Well, si Matthew Aquino was out of nowhere. Yung story ang yan at ngayon nasa Japan and now he is with the national team. Same thing, Ero, same issue para sa ating huli. Si Matthew Aquino ay naglalaro na ngayon para sa Japan national team. Mas mabuti para kay Matthew Aquino kung itutuloy na niya ang kanyang paglalaro sa Akatsuki kaysa pa magpumilit siya sa Gilas, Pilipinas. Ano ang take mo, Eros? 1 minute, go!
I agree, Kom. Tama si Sir Ben. It just makes more sense for him from a practical and career standpoint. Dito sa Pilipinas, before he gets a call-up from Gilas Pilipinas, napakaraming work around it. Like, it has to make sense from a logistical standpoint for him and Gilas itself. And the opportunity and the role has to be there. With Japan, kasi Japan, I'm not really sure if Japan has elite big men, so he might have a crack someday if he continues his upward trajectory. More importantly, playing in Japan would give him a better pathway to pro opportunities to a long career in Japan, especially since he's a local naman, he has a Japanese passport. When he gets the exposure and the development that he should be getting, teams will be rushing to offer him bigger contracts. The key here is really exposure. Matt hasn't really had a lot of fun here in the Philippines, and for him to get that kind of exposure in Japan, it's just going to be great for him long term.
Well, I agree with you. This is a great opportunity for the big man. Although nung nakausap ko siya dito sa ating show, sabi niya, he still like to play. He would rather play for the Philippines, pero syempre na-offeran siya dyan. He's got great genes coming from Marlo Aquino, obviously. Ang tanong lang, bakit hindi siya napili? Meron kayang na-miss sila Coach Tab Baldwin with this guy? At tayo ba ang manghihinayang? Only time will tell. But right now, we're very happy for Matthew Aquino. All right. Gentlemen, maraming salamat sa inyong pagbibigay ng inyong napakatapang na mga opinion once again this morning sa Power and Play. Hope to see you again. Huwag kayong magsasawa sa pagsama namin sa Fast Take.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kom. Good morning.
Good morning. Yan po mga kaibigan natin mga kasama sa Hanap Buhay. Si Ruben Terrado at si Eros Villanueva ng Spin.ph. Wow, wonderful morning to start with all of those brand new and alam mo, ang gaganda alam mo na malalalim ang alam nitong mga to pagdating sa mga usaping sports. All right. Kagaya na nabanggit natin, we are coming to you live from Asea Beach Resort in Subic Bay. Pabalik-balik tayo dito dahil napakaganda po ng Asea. We've seen how beautiful the scenes are here. Napakaganda yung mga rooms, facilities. Itong kanilang music room. They have a gym right beside it and a game room right in front of me. unbelievable place pero merong isang area na hindi pa tayo napag-usapan, yun yung kinakain dito sa ASEA. At ngayon po makakasama natin mismo ang pinaka-master chef ng ASEA Beach Resort in Subic. Walang iba kundi si Chef Linda Junio. Kasama natin siya ngayon on the show. Magandang umaga, Chef Linda.
Yes, good morning po. Good morning sa Sir Noling, napakagwapo. Happy breakfast sa ASEA Beach Resort.
Thank you so much. Chef, medyo gumitna ka ng konti para
Ayan.
Naku,
Nakita ko tuloy.
Chef, alam mo, sabi ko nga, ang daming magandang tanawin, ang daming facilities dito. Pero ang tanong dito, yung gastronomic experience. Can you describe to us, ating mga viewers, ano naman na may expect nila with their dining experience dito sa ASEA?
So dito kasi sa ASEA, of course, number one is nature. Napakaganda. And then ang food po natin is sinabay din natin dun sa napakagandang nature kasi nag-R&D kami na freshly cooked, freshly cut. So lahat ng pagkain natin may experience ninyo dito is masarap kasi nung time na pandemic talagang pinag-isipan po namin mabuti ang ASEA food.
And I can attest to that. Napakasarap talaga, lalong-lalo na ng almusal na meron kayong specialty of the house, Chef. Alam ko, yung tapa ninyo is house-made, ika nga, from your recipe. Aside from the tapa, ano pa ang specialty of the house, Chef Linda?
Dito kasi, para sa akin kasi, lahat is special kasi marami na tayong returning guests and then may coming pa nga po tayo na menu na idadagdag kasi may mga nag-e-extend. Pero para sa akin, sa mga chef kasi, all food na ginagawa namin is special. Dessert, maging soup, maging appetizer, maging pizza. But para sa akin din, kapag nagpunta ka dito sa Salt Bar, na napakagandang pool bar natin din. So meron tayo din special yung pizza bagnet, ASEA signature na pizza. And then kung ikaw naman ayaw mong gaano mag-inom, meron tayong chocolate cake na old passion.
Uy, wow! Weakness ko yan, mga chocolate cake na. Nakikita natin yung pagkain, mga kapatid. Nakikita nyo naman kung gaano kasarap yung mga pagkain na yan. Chef, malapit na ang Kapaskuhan, malapit na ang holidays. Meron bang espesyal na inihanda or iahanda ang ASEA this coming holiday season sa menu?
Yes po. Meron po, nakaplano po kami. Number one, syempre, of course, pag breakfast, maglalagay tayo ng traditional na breakfast Filipino like bibingka, puto bumbong. And then marami pa po kaming special spread na ilalagay. Medianoche at saka magkakaroon din po tayo ng lechon kasi meron tayong mga family gathering pagka ganyang Christmas.
Alright, well, nagugutom na ako, Chef. Yung mga medyan dapat mag-book na sila ng maaga dahil ang daming mangyayari dito sa ASEA and of course, the experience is just unforgettable when you come to ASEA Beach Resort Subic. Chef, mag-imbita ka sa ating mga tagapanood at tagapakinig dito sa napakagandang ASEA Beach Resort sa Subic.
Apo. Yes, good morning. Dito po sa ASEA Subic Beach Resorts, napakaganda ng nature and then masusurprise po kayo dun sa mga pagkain namin na inihanda. So, make lang na advance po ng reservation kasi yung iba hindi na nga talaga nakaka-reserve. Bali siguro talagang 1 month. Kasi kahit sa akin, Derrick, na tumatawag, minsan lagi na ako na dun sa front desk. But agahan nyo na lang po yung reservation. Lalo na yung mga family ninyo, bigyan ninyo ng time. Napakaganda po ng ating infinity pool. Napakaganda po ng dagat dito. Hindi kayo mahampas sa alon.
Talaga. I can attest to that. Napakaganda ng pool, napakaganda ng beach, napakalinis, and of course, kalmado ang dagat. Maraming salamat, Chef Linda. And we'll see you dito sa ASEA sa muli namin pagbabalik. At aabangan ko yung lechon, Chef Linda. Maraming salamat. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sir Noli. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Mga kaibigan, si Chef Linda Junio, ang head chef ng ASEA Beach Resort dito po sa Subic. Naku hindi kayo manghihinayang. It's a gastronomic experience. It's total experience for the whole family. come and join and enjoy Asea Beach Resort. Alright, bago po tayo mag-break, isang paalala mula sa ating nagbabalik na tagapagsuporta ng Power and Play, ang Smart. Well, unang-una pong paalala, Puso Pilipinas is a movement to celebrate the Filipino athlete powered by Smart. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Get a chance to win exclusive Puso Pilipinas merch by sharing their Facebook page and your social media accounts with hashtag Puso Pilipinas. Isa pa pong paalala mula sa Smart sa kanilang Gigalife. The Gigalife App is the latest mobile app from Smart that lets you discover and enjoy your passions with the different Giga promos. It can be downloaded and used by Smart Postpaid, Smart Prepaid, Bro Prepaid, and TNT subscribers via the Apple or Google Play Store. The Giga Play app is the new and handy streaming app naman, especially developed to bring a suite of sports and entertainment content to subscribers for free. Now downloadable on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store, GigaPlay has curated live and on-demand content that are optimized to stream seamlessly on the country's fastest mobile network. The app is available to all Smart Prepaid, Smart Postpaid, TNT, and Smart Bro subscribers who only have to connect to their mobile data. Select the video they want on the GigaPlay app and watch it to their heart's content anytime and anywhere. Yan po ang Smart, at ang Power and Play is powered by Smart. We will take a quick break. Sa aming pong pagbabalik, makakasama natin UAAP coaches Derrick Pumaren and Jinno Manansala sa Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom at ng Cherry Tigo.
I dare to dream big, to be a voice of my generation, to inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai's stories on Twitter and share yours with Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day, plus data for all sites.
Simple, smart ako.
Alex, are you ready to have some fun on your first driving lesson?
You're seeing live scenes from the entrance of Asea's Beach Resort here in Subic, kung saan kami po ay nag-broadcast live this Saturday morning. Beautiful entrance, yan po ang lobby, and of course, they're very welcoming. Hopefully, everyone can get to see Asea Beach Resort. Magandang umaga po muli, mga kapatid. Nagbabalik po kami dito sa music room ng Asea Beach Resort. I'd like to say hello to Chris Chu na nanonood sa atin ngayon. Magandang umaga, Chris. Good to know that you are watching the show. I hope you can be on the show one of these days. We want to know what's going on with you, and of course, kung gaano ka successful ito ating kaibigan si Chris sa kanyang mga negosyo, and of course, life after the PBA. I see him with his family, just a great guy, wonderful father, and a great husband. Chris, I'll see you around in the golf course. All right, pinag-usapan ang si Chris Chu. Yan si Chris Chu, isang produkto ng napakagandang college program ng Ateneo, and collegiate sports is back, mga kapatid, with the announcement by the CHED that they will begin to allow teams to practice. Marami nang excited to have college sports back in our landscape. And today, to talk about that, makakasama natin ang head coach ng Lasalle University Green Archers, si Coach Derrick Pumaren, at ang bagong head coach ng UST Growling Tigers, walang iba kundi si Coach Jinno Manansala. Magandang umaga, Coach Derrick and Coach Jinno. Good to have you on the show.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning
Tom.
po, Kom Noli. Coach Derrick, good morning po.
Good morning, Coach. Yeah.
Salamat, Coach Derrick. Naku, mukhang pare-pareho na tayong umahaba ang buhok, Coach Derrick, dahil hindi tayo nakakapagpagupit.
Hindi na ba? Ermitanyo?
Coach Jinno, mukhang
start.
yun nga, parang mayroong pamahiyan. Coach Jinno, parang palaki ng palaki katawan mo naman. Ha?
Bahay lang muna, ingat po muna sa labas, pero vaccinated
malapit
naman na po
malapit
tayo.
na talagang lumabas. All right. I mean, I'll go straight to the wonderful news na ang balita ngayon ay magsisimula na ang practices, papayagan na mag-practice ang mga college teams at ang mga atleta. Ano muna ang reaction mo, Coach Derrick? How excited are you sa pagbabalik ng collegiate sports?
Well, we've been waiting for it now for almost 2 years. The team has just been doing yung mga online workout, and sometimes it gets boring. Medyo kasi inip na ang hirap din i-manage, no? Ang when it comes to mental also ng mga players. But with this news, at least it's one motivation na pwede naman gamitin na makapag-umpisa ng UAP.
All right. Coach Jinno, this is your first time to handle the UAP team. So, gaano ka ka-excited? And of course, ano ba? Panahon na ba? You think hindi na ito mapipigil?
Hindi na. Nagtrabaho naman mabuti yung IATF, yung JED, na inayos nila mabuti kung ano yung dapat sundin. Kailangan lang natin sumunod. At excited na po ang players and coaches na magsama-sama. Sobrang tagal po.
Sabi nga ni Coach Derrick, sila patuloy lang yung pag-iensayo, nakaka-bore na nga dahil puro Zoom na lang. Kayo rin ba, Coach Jinno, ganon? Paano mo minamaintain yung condition at saka yung sharpness ng mga bata mo?
Ganon din po, online and individual training. From time to time, check namin yung mga players, and meron din kaming session sa mga psychologists para sa mental ng mga players, kasi kailangan po nila talaga. Ibang-iba po yung online sa individual. Kaya in-repair lang namin yung mga bata. So, once mag-resume na, ito na po yung pinakihintay namin.
Alright.
Mag-resume na po yung training.
Coach Derrick, ang napapabalita ay mga Pebrero daw magsisimula ang UAAP, and now it's about almost the end of November. Do you think sapat na ang panahon para makapaghanda, especially considering na holidays ang ating tatapatan itong December? Sapat na ba yung panahon up to February for you to prepare the team?
Well, in reality, no, to be very competitive, medyo kapos ng konti, no, ang panahon. But we just have to make up for it. Make do what we have. Probably we'll do like twice a day training, no, just to be able to catch up on things, no. Right now, we've set up program, and openings February or March or whatever, no, na maabot kami dahil ang target namin is for these guys na pag nag-show up kami ng face-to-face training is they're already 70%, no, 70% at least physically, no, condition. So yung 30% we feel that we'll be able to do that in like 2-3 months.
Alright mga kaibigan, nagbabalik po tayo sa Power and Play. Medyo nagkaroon tayo ng konting signal disruption. Kasama pa rin po natin si Coach Derrick Pumaren and si Coach Jinno Manansala ng Lasalle at ng UST respectively. I heard your statement, Coach Derrick, na medyo kulang pero you have to make do with that. Jinno, same position, medyo lalong-lalo ka na. Medyo you're rebuilding a team. Do you have any concerns na maiksi itong panahon para sa pagsisimula ng team mo patungo sa opening ng UAAP?
Kung ano po yung oras na ibibigay, talaga pong pag-uusayan namin ng coaches namin. Hindi po kami magsasayang ng oras dito. Ito po yung pinakahintay namin yung magka-UAAP na. Talagang nakafocus kami dito, although puro bago yung players natin, pero lalaban itong mga bata.
Coach Derrick, what is your biggest concern ngayon sa team mo? In terms of preparation, ano ang pinakamalaking iniinda mo or inututukan mo as you move towards the opening ng UAAP?
Well, because if you remember kasi nung nag-start ako, we were only able to practice like a month and a half, no? So instilling the system, tuturuan ng sistema, hindi pa nila masyado nagagawa at nalalaman because of yung short time na nandun ako. Kasi nung nag-join ako, March, tigil na kagad eh. We were only played 2 games D-League, but we've been only practicing like for a month and a half. So yun ang concern ko. But there will be a lot of new faces also for Lasalle this coming season. So new system will be implemented, no? So medyo yun ang inaano ko, magiging problema ko tingin ko yung paituro kaya kapos ang oras. Pero I think we by doing double effort, no, double time, I think we'll be able to do it.
Coach Jinno, nabasa ko somewhere na may plano ka na pagpatuloy yung mayhem system ni Coach Aldin Ayo. Of course, meron kang sarili mong estilo na nakita ko when you were with St. Clair sa NAASCU. Ano ang biggest concern mo in so far as you're getting into the Growling Tigers ngayon? And of course, mga bago, mga mukhang hahawakan mo.
Apo, sa ngayon po, ipaprioritize namin yung fitness ng mga players and yung chemistry. Yun po yung tututukan namin ngayon. Apo.
Very, very important, obviously, yung fitness dahil maraming koponan na nasisira pagka nagkaroon ng injury, lalong-lalo na sa kanila mga mahalagang players. Coach Derrick, let's talk about the team. Very busy kayo, even Coach Jinno, ng recruitment. Everybody in the UAAP during the off-season. Dahil wala kang magawa, ang nangyayari dito, puro recruitment balita. So, let's talk about who's new, who's still there para sa inyong mga koponan. Coach Derrick, I've heard that of course, you got new faces, Mark Nonoy, but you have old faces like Jordan Bartlett, andyan pa rin si Ivan Nel, and of course, marami pang iba. But sino ang mga naiwan, sino ang mga bago, Coach Derrick, sa koponan ng De La Salle Green Archers?
Right now, ang mga naiwan, si Balti has still decided, has decided, no? Thank to him na yung final year niya, tatapusin niya sa Lasalle, no? And then Waki's there, si Manuel, si baba. There are ang mga bago ko usually kasi there are a lot of new faces now. There are still a big question like the Bartlett and Bates are still a question babalik is because of the situation dito sa atin, no? And they're still not sure if they're coming back.
Okay.
So far yung iba lang ang veterans na nasa akin ngayon na iwan si Bates, si Manuel, no? Yun pa lang so far. Ang
What
mga bago
about
ko really Nonoy and Ivan, no? Nelly, no? Yan ang mga bago ko nandiyan.
si Ivan Nelly? What about yung mga bagong recruit mo, Coach Derek? Si Kevin Kiambao, sila Raven Cortez, yung Penny Estacio, at saka yung Jared Abadam. Yan ba mga prospects pa lang yan? Yan ba ay maglalaro sa junior team muna o patuloy na yan sa senior team?
Si Kevin Kiambao will not be available this coming season 84, no? He will be eligible for season 85 dahil he's still in grade 12 now.
Okay.
But the rest of the guys that you mentioned are all eligible to play. So we have like about 22 in the pool. Yeah, we have a players pool. We call it players pool. Those 22 players are all eligible to play. So I can choose from those 22 to cut down to 16 by the start of ng U18.
Who among the new players have impressed you? May narinig tayo about the brothers Phillips, yung Deshaun Winston. Sino ang mga naka-impress sa'yo so far, Coach Derek? Sa tingin mo,
so far si yung Winston brothers will be able to help, no? They'll be able to add height up and ceiling sa team, no? Of course, Deshaun has played 3 seasons in the NCAA Division 1, so he'll be able to be a good addition, no? He'll be playing 2 seasons for us, and of course Nelly and Nonoy, no? I think ang backcourt will be loaded kasi and with Deshaun Winston there, we'll be able to add more options, no? Pag nandun si Deshaun kasi he can play point and he can play the second guard.
And of course, yung anak, anak ni Dondon, Isaiah Hontiveros?
Yes, he's still there. He's also in the pool, si Hontiveros. But we'll in reality, we still haven't seen him, no, in person because of the pandemic. We're able to recruit him during nitong pandemic. So they are all the pandemic recruits.
Well, ang dami niyan Ganon din naman sa UST, no, Coach Jinno? Ang daming mga pandemic recruits na tinatawag ni Coach Derek, no? But ikaw, malaki ang nalaga sa inyo. Of course, alam natin na nawala na si Mark Nonoy na ngayon ay nasa Lasalle, Renz Abando, CJ Cancino, Brent Paraiso, si Ira Batilier. Ang dami niya mga veteranong nawala and you're almost building from scratch. My first question is, anong balita sa inyong foreign import? I mean, yung foreign player ninyo?
Greatly affected by the departure of our solid veterans, especially si Chabio recently nagpaalam.
Oo nga
Pero we just have to accept it and make do with our yung mga remaining na veterans namin tulad ni Ando, ni Sherwin Concepcion, and then tas yung mga new recruits po namin. Sila Joshua Fontanilla, Brian Santos, tapos yung galing po sa training pool namin sila Manaytay, si Manalang. Then ito na yung mga new recruits, sila Jordy Deliano, Royce Mantua. Yun po.
Yung LA Casinillo, kasama na ba yun?
LA Casinillo po is nasa UK.
So pero yung ba ay nag-commit na sa inyo para maglaro na rin, Coach?
Meron po siyang inahabol na na kailangan magstay pa po sila sa UK for hanggang February. Kailangan po muna maayos po nila yon, pero sa basa ko hindi po siya makalaro ngayong UAP.
Alright. What about si Kian Baclaan ng galing sa De La Salle Sobel?
Yeah, Kian Baclaan graduating siya ngayon na grade 12. Magaling yung bata, Grabe yung bata. Nakita ko yung mga highlights niya kasi ngayon hindi pa talaga kami makapag face to face. Hinihintay lang namin yung bubble dito sa campus.
Okay. Kaya yan ang plano mo para sa koponan mo. Alright, let me ask you, Coach Jinno, ano ang so far, what do you like about your team and ano ang klaseng team na binibuild mo dyan sa UST?
Just stick on the rebuilding and hard work needed to make the team competitive. We will take things one step at a time, a game at a time to see how they progress. No promises po, but we will work hard as there's much more to ano pa. Basta as far as coaches naman, we will enjoy working hard with each other and our players to bring out the best in them and develop their potential to the fullest. It will be an exciting and challenging year ahead of
Wow.
us po.
I'm sure dahil lalong-lalo na alam ko ikaw, Coach Jinno, you're a very hard worker. I've seen the way magtrabaho ka in the past and of course mga koponan mo ay nagkampiyon na rin, lalong-lalo na sa players. Coach Derrick, what do you like about the Lasalle team this year?
Well, I think right now the spirit is different. We want to bring in the old animal spirit now, and I'm trying to change the old culture, no? Dahil parang they're just parang attitude na losing is okay, no? Losing is not okay, no? So we have a standard as far as basketball in LaSalle, so we have to maintain that standard, and the animal spirit is what we need, and refusing to lose is what we have to show. And we just have to show the people and the LaSalle community that we're not gonna roll over and die, and we will be very competitive by this coming season.
Well, grabe ang suporta, of course, ng Lasalle community and everyone is so excited about the new season. And with you at the helm, alam nila na ibang-iba ang pamamalakad na ngayon. Knowing that Coach Derrick has been hindi lamang nakapagpakampiyon sa Lasalle but also sa iba pa niyang pinuntahan na mga koponan. Let me ask about the plans for this new season, Coach Derrick. Ano ang plano mo sa practices ngayon na papayagan na yan? May mga, kagaya ni Coach Jinno, he mentioned a bubble training. Kayo ba nagpaplano ng ganyan?
Yes. We planned this. We prepared this already, like 3-4 months ago. So we're just ready to go to do. When they give the signal, then we're just ready to enter now. So handang-handa na, even all the protocols, talagang ready na kami doon.
Saan gagawin yan, Coach Derrick? Sa campus lang? Ganun ba yan?
We have a dorm isa Lasalle for basketball team only.
Okay.
That's the compound ni Boss Danding, no?
Right.
The late Boss Danding Huangco, no? And even when I was playing for LaSalle, doon kami naka-quarters eh. So that's only purely for basketball. So definitely walang ma-expose kung ano, kaya pagka na bubble doon, talagang kami lang, hindi makapasok, diba?
Coach Jinno, paano yung bubble mo? Anong plano mo? Diyan ba sa Espanya gagawin yan?
Dito po sa loob ng campus, almost 60% na po yung tinatapos na po nila. We're waiting na lang sa CHED kasi magbibisita po sila eh. Kasi alam ko mga 6 schools na po yung nabisita nila. Yung inintay na lang po namin sila dito para bigyan kami ng go signal to enter the bubble po.
Alright. Anong magiging focus ng training sa bubble?
Yun po, yung fitness po muna nila talagang importante. Tapos magkakaroon tayo ng Christmas break. Pinag-aaralan po namin kung ano po yung magandang gawin para sa mga bata. Kasi hindi po ayaw namin po aksayin yung oras. Gawa ng UAP is napakalapit na po.
Oo nga.
We need to perform talaga dito. Talagang, opo.
Managing the time and the schedule ang mangyayari ngayon, napaka-challenging para sa inyong dalawa.
Yes, Kom.
Coach Derrick, in terms of vaccination, kayong dalawa, lahat ba ng players niyo will be vaccinated? Will that be a requirement?
Yes, all my players have been vaccinated na, all of them, including the coaches. Coaches, staff, utilities, kung sino man, people at the dorm are all vaccinated. So wala kaming problema. Matagal na kami vaccinated, so we've done that part. Matagal na. So as I said, we're all ready for that. We're ready for that.
Coach Jinno, ganun din ba sa inyo sa UST?
95% po is vaccinated na po sa amin. Meron pa pong isa na lang po itong first week ng December. Lahat po okay na rin po.
Mukhang handang-handa na talaga sa pagsisimula ng practices. Ang tanong na lamang kung paano magre-respond ang mga players. Before I let you go, I want to ask a little bit something about you, yung mga I know kayong pareho ay sort of bago. Si Coach Derrick hindi na bago yan Bagong luma yan kasi nanggaling na sa yan. Nagbabalik sa Lasalle. So medyo bago pa rin yung feeling. Coach Derrick, I'll begin with you. Second time around, sabi na is always sweeter. Pero para sa'yo personally, what is the difference this time around handling the Green Archers?
Well, it's going to be a big challenge for me. No, we've got a lot of things to prove handling this team. Lasalle has only won 2 championships in the last 9 years. We've been eliminated in the Final Four in the last 2 seasons. So, as I've said, it's really a big task for me to be able to bring back Lasalle. And not like when I started coaching Lasalle, first year pa lang namin sa UAP noon, first timer. But this time, as I mentioned a while ago, na may standard ng ini-expect ang mga Lasalle community. So that's a big challenge for me. And I'm ready to face the challenge, as I've said, and we're ready to go and show what we can do this coming UAP.
Coach Jinno, you have been a champion nung nakaraan. Like I have said, and you've also been an assistant coach sa UST. So medyo meron ka ng feel kung paano ang UAAP. Pero ito ang unang mong pagtungtong bilang head coach. Anong ibig sabihin nito para sa iyo, Coach Jinno?
Kom Noli, UAP sa big league. Naglakapaglaro din po ako nung 99 hanggang 2003. Iba po ang UAP. And then yung mga coaches po talaga is talagang A1 yan. Mga best coaches yan sa Pilipinas. Although nakalaban ko na sila halos sa mga tournaments, sa D-League. May feel ko na rin po sila alam ko na rin po yung mga nila, yung mga strategies. Pero sabi ko nga, pagtatrabuhan namin to ng mga coaching staff.
Alright. Well, to both of you, may pressure ba? Coach Jinno, ikaw muna. Is there pressure to deliver?
May pressure po sa umpisa, pero sanay naman po ako sa pressure na yan. Pag-aandaan ko po ito mabuti.
Alright. Coach Derrick, ikaw, may nararamdaman ka bang pressure to deliver para sa community ng Lasalle?
Well, pressure is kakambal ng coaching. So when you accept a job, the pressure kasama yun. Parang pagka nagpirma ka ng kontrata to be a coach, kasama yun, nakalagay doon pressure, malaki. So kakambal yan. So I've been coaching for more than 35 years and the pressure is there for more than 35 years too.
Never goes away, tama no, Coach Derrick? Alright.
Yes.
As a final parting shot dito, Coach Derrick, sa tingin mo, what would make a successful season for you itong parating na UAAP?
I think that the attitude of the players will really play a big part now, because they have to cooperate this time because we'll be going in a short preparation, and I think the commitment is a big factor too. Dahil going into a bubble is not a joke. I know that there'll be stressful ang bubble, but we need a lot of sacrifice, and that's what we need to be able to be competitive and to be able to be successful this coming season. No? And of course, the team chemistry is very important, Simon. So hopefully that all the veterans will be able to blend with the new guys, and the new guys will be able to blend with the old veterans like Baltasar. No? And hopefully that Baltic can take the lead this time.
All right. Coach Jinno, ikaw, what will define a successful season for you para sa UST Growling Tigers? Knowing that you're rebuilding, may goals ba kayong sinet? What would be a successful season for you personally?
Ayun lang po, sundin lang po namin yung plano namin dito kasi sabi ko nga very short itong preparation. We have a new team, di ba? Rebuilding po tayo. Kailangan lang namin mahanap yung own identity ng mga team namin. From there, trabahuin namin. Sabi ko nga talaga puro bago ito. puro bago yung bata. Pero ano kami, positive naman na malalaki, ang lalaki nito. Yung dati medyo underheight, ito malalaking players ito. Kailangan lang talaga trabahuin. Hindi pwede yung alam mo na, yung shortcut, hindi agad-agad yan. Kailangan talaga trabahuin
Trabaho.
sila.
Lalong-lalo na kung kaharap mo si Coach Derrick. Medyo... Alright, mga kaibigan. Maraming salamat, Coach Derrick Pumaren, Coach Jinno Manansala, for taking the time out. Good luck sa UAP. Good luck sa inyong practices. I hope na walang maging problema, and of course, stay safe lagi sa inyong mga gawain. Maraming salamat.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Kom. Anytime.
Maraming salamat.
Salamat. God bless po.
Thank you.
Ang head coach ng Lasalle University Green Archers, Coach Derrick Pumaren, and the head coach ng UST Growling Tigers, Coach Jinno Manansala. Wow! Ang ganda, exciting na, nakakatuwa na nagsisimula na ang college sports. Malamang daw February ang season, so maghanda na kayo. At sana nga, papasukin na rin ang mga fans sa mga laro. Alright, bago tayo mag-commercial break, mag-short break muna tayo at sumilip sa mga trending videos, and of course yung mga nagugustuhan nating mga sports online features dito po sa ating Stop and Pop. Puso at tibay ng loob ang ating itatampok sa ating unang video. Panoorin po ninyo to, ha. Ito po yung laban. Mga bata pa to, ha. Siguro to mga late grade school to, mga grade 7, grade 8. Pero may isang matangkad dyan, yung number 23. Pero tayo, grabe yung dumakdak yan. Ang galing. Magiging player talaga yan. Pero saludo tayo dito sa maliit na player. Panoorin nyo yung number 44. Ikita nyo naman kung gaano kalaki yan. At sinalubong niya, yung 23, tumanggap siya ng charge foul, offensive foul. Yan ang puso, yan ang tapang. And sabi ko nga, sa aking isang tweet post, sabi ko, I will take number 44 anytime on my team. Grabe ang puso at tapang ni number 44 sa ating Stop and Pop moment. Alright mga kaibigan, we will take a quick break. Sa aming pong pagbabalik, makakasama natin ang head coach ng Barangay Ginebra Kings, live si Coach Tim Cone sa Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Tigo at ng Cherry Loom.
I dare to dream big, to be a voice of my generation, to inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai Stories on Twitter and share yours with Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day, plus data for all sites.
Simple, smart ako.
Alex, are you ready to have some fun on your first driving lesson?
Ang Power and Play ay hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Sa ganitong pabago-bago ang panahon mga kapatid, sobrang init tapos biglang uulan. Kailangan natin ng matibay at protektadong bubong. Dapat ang bubong ay yerong may aluminum. Kapag may aluminum, tsak na pangmatagalan. At isa lang ang alam kong dekalidad na yerong may aluminum. Yan ang Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero. Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Cherry Tigo, paano mo masasabing nakaka-enjoy i-drive ang sasakyan mo? Isa lang ang sagot ko dyan. Siyempre kapag ang minamaneho mo ay Cherry Tigo 7 Pro. Luxurious ang exteriors at comfort-filled naman ang interiors. Intelligent dahil meron itong automatic tailgate opening, engine start, at climate control na pwede mong makontrol using its smart key. Perfect pa pang long drive dahil meron itong large sunroof, HD touchscreen, wireless mobile charging, at 360 around view monitoring. Pro na pro ka with the Tigo 7 Pro dahil available na rin ito for as low as 88,000 pesos all in. Hanggang 120,000 din ang cash discounts exclusive ngayong September. Open pa for free test drives kaya i-schedule mo na ang appointment sa Cherry Dealer today. Cherry Tigo 7 Pro, fun to drive. Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo. Dahil ayaw naming nahihirapan ka, book Joyride Motorcycle Taxi now and experience hassle-free commute. And it's never too early to start getting ready for the holidays. Now's the right time to plan the perfect gifts for your loved ones to avoid the holiday rush. For all your delivery needs this coming holiday season, Joyride Super App is here. Now available in Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, Laguna, Baguio, and soon in Bulacan. So download the latest Joyride Super App now. Elms Resto Bar Group, home of fried eating, with branches at Elms Tapas and Winery, located in Calle Bistro, Commonwealth, Quezon City, and Elms Grill and Bar in Poblacion, Makati. You may call 0977-157-0499 or 0966-854-4048 or visit their FB and IG pages at Elms Resto Bar Group for reservations and inquiries. Skin, your face and body anti-aging center, with branches at Wilson Street, San Juan City, and Alabang Town Center, Muntinlupa City. For inquiries, please call 0917-890-1640 or 0977-809-8886. Asea Subic Beach Resort. Experience the getaway that you deserve and dive into limitless happenings, rejuvenating experiences, and gastronomic adventures. Asea Subic Beach Resort. Power and Play would also like to thank the Umami Bowl, your go-to for Japanese rice bowls, and Lick Hobby, weave by weave, hand in hand. Check out their IG pages. And Power and Play is powered by Smart. Live smart. We're seeing scenes from the beach ng Asea Subic Beach Resort, and what a beautiful morning here just to welcome you all sa Power and Play. Gawin niyo pong kasama ngayong Sabado ng umaga sa inyong pag-almusal. Just a wonderful place to visit, and we certainly hope that you can all come over and see this beautiful beach resort in Subic, ang Asea Resort. Magandang umaga po muli mga kapatid. Nagbabalik po kami sa Power and Play. I'd like to thank also nga pala Carlitos Sisig Seafood Restaurant. Yan po ay matatagpuan sa Shaw Boulevard. Bukas na po sila sa dine-in and take out. Maraming salamat kay paring Elmer Ngo, kay Lance Ngo, and of course Captain Carlito Cernal. Yan po sa Carlitos. Also, isang announcement, yung Elms Resto Bar dyan sa Evergotesco ay magsisimula na sila sa Elms Seafood. Paluto din yan dyan sa Evergotesco. November 23 ang simula po niyan. Maraming salamat kay Ate Malu Yambao sa kanyang pag-imbita. November 23, abangan nyo po yan. Elms Seafood dyan sa Gotesco. I'd also like to say hello to Adrian Flores, ang editor ng Perfect Drive PH. Their issue is now out. Yung pong golf magazine na paborito nyo, free yan sa ating mga, makikita nyo yan sa ating mga golf clubs. Perfect Drive PH ang kanilang cover ngayon, yung Maserati, yung kotse, beautiful 8-page issue ng Perfect Drive PH. All right, mga kaibigan, at this point, we have with us, he doesn't need too much of an introduction. Everyone knows him, and we'll be talking about the coming Governor's Cup. We have with us on the show our special guest today, no other than the head coach of Barangay Ginebra and my good friend, Coach Tim Cohn. Morning, Tim.
Honor and a pleasure to be on your show. Truly, it always is. I'm always looking forward to coming on.
Tim, Coach, I wanted to invite you all the way here so you can enjoy this beach resort with the family, and it would have been a great time for you just to, but, think maybe the next time you guest on our show, you will be with me on that.
I was just going to say we're in the midst. Right now, we're in the midst of prepping and practice. We're doing 2-a-days. This is the first time we've done 2-a-days in 2 years. So it's a really, really busy time for us right now, and I'm loving it. I'm loving being busy for the first time. Yeah.
It's like
we're really back.
Fish back in water for you. I know that you're the kind of guy that just wants to work. That's why you need some time here in ASEA. But anyway, Tim, here we go. Let me ask you first, before we go to your plans for the Governor's Cup, I just want very quickly, you had sort of a disappointing Philippine Cup. Let's put it that way, because you were the defending champions. You got in a guy like Stan Hardinger to beef up your team. You had some really good players coming back. Injuries hit you, but your own assessment, Tim. What were the factors that sort of brought this disappointing result?
Well, basically, when your players don't play well, it's basically because they're not prepared well, and if they're not prepared well, that's really a coaching issue. And looking back on it, it's so easy to look back on hindsight, but looking back on it, truly, we weren't prepared to play that conference. I remember that we got started late. Christian was injured when he first came to the team, so we didn't have him for the first 3 weeks of practice. We only had him for like 10 days of practice before the conference started. So we really didn't get that gelling that we wanted. And we didn't really push. Maybe it was because we came off a couple of championships, but we just weren't pushing like we had in previous conferences. And, we took it for granted, and that's on me. You just can't take things for granted. And I felt we took things for granted, and the other teams just passed us up. And they didn't. And it's always an old thing that if you're not, if you're in and running, don't look back, because someone's going to be passing you by. And we did a lot of looking back, and we allowed teams to pass us by. And we didn't deserve to be one of the top teams in that conference. We just didn't deserve it. We know that. So
I looked at your numbers, Tim, and obviously those numbers were not of your liking. You particularly both ends, offensively, defensively. Offensively, you were 11th in terms of scoring. You were dead last in terms of bench scoring. Defensively, you were outscored by your opponents, 88-83 on the average. What does this tell you? What do those numbers tell you, Tim?
Well, we have to find out whether that's an outlier or it's really us. And one thing that we do know, we need to make some adjustments and changes to the way we play, and that's what we are doing. We need to get everybody back healthy, that's for sure. And again, like I said, we need to have better preparation. And I feel we're doing that this time with, again, our 2-a-days, like we're back. Before the last conference, we were traveling all the way to Batangas, and I just don't think we took the practices as seriously as we needed to do it. So, I'm willing to grant everyone a pass on that last one. It was one of those things where what could go wrong went wrong for us in terms of the COVID and the protocols, and We were the first one to get hit by the protocols to start the conference, and so we were locked in our rooms for 5 days while everybody else was practicing, and then we came out, had to play basically within 2 days. So we only had 2 practices before we started our first game, and then that just got us off on a bad wrong step. So okay, we were bad. We took a couple steps. We took a step backwards, and now we're hoping to take a couple steps forward. And we're not going to panic, but we do need to keep up with the Joneses. We need to keep up with the Talking Texas and the San Miguel's and the Magnolias and the basically everybody.
Yeah, and
a lot of people out there, and so we got to figure out a way to pick it back up.
I want to ask you about that because you picked up a guy, Sydney Onwubere, for a trade with Art de la Cruz, and it seems to me that that's just a perfect pickup for you because, as I mentioned, you were dead last in bench scoring last year, and it seems to me that despite the fact that you were your team is loaded with talent. Obviously, a lot of the injury bugs hit you. A lot of players getting into health protocols. But a guy like Onwubere obviously will help your bench. How do you see Onwubere's role, and do you think that this is going to address some of those problems that you had last Philippine Cup?
Yeah, well, I think we had a really young bench for the most part, except for the guys like Jeff. Jeff Chan was he was a veteran off the bench, but he only played half that conference because he was in protocol situations as well. And then when he came back, he wasn't, you sit at home doing a protocol for 10, 12, 14 days in a room and not allowed to leave. It's really hard to stay in shape, even if you're doing Zoom workouts daily. So, him coming back was having a problem. And then of course, when Japeth and got injured and we lost Scotty, that took the depth away from our team. We had to start guys that we wouldn't normally start. But, again, it just sounds, I don't like talking about it because it sounds like it's all about excuses. We made excuses for this or that and this. But, the bottom line is that Sydney, we really loved Art de la Cruz in many, many ways. I mean, not only was he truly, when he's healthy, he's a great player. He was always that guy who was going to replace Joe Devance for us. That Joe was going to groom and he was going to play that kind of role for us. But we just couldn't keep him healthy on the floor. And we just, we kind of ran out of patience. So we had to move forward. So we went after a younger guy who we felt has real good potential. He's physically imposing. He's a really strong guy. He has a good 3-point shot, not a lights out 3-point shot, but he shoots well from the perimeter. He finishes around the inside. We feel he's just kind of hitting his stride right now, and we're hoping we're getting him at the right time, and then he can really step up and help. I'm not sure he's going to be a guy who comes off the bench. He may be a starter for us because we really believe in his skills and his skill set, especially now that Aljon Mariano is still out and unable to play at this point. He'll be out for a number of weeks still.
Tim, when I look at your lineup, especially your starting lineup, and you're talking about Sydney maybe getting into that starting lineup, LA is 37, Stanley is pushing 35, Japeth is pushing 35, JDV is 39, Stan Hardinger is the youngest there at 32. Of course, Jared Dillinger is not a starter, but he's 37. Is this a concern for you?
Well, yes and no. It's a concern because guys are starting to play beyond their prime. Prime is really anywhere between 29 and 30. It used to be 29 and like 32. That was the prime. But the way people take care of their bodies these days, there's an extension now. I don't think you guys lose. I don't think players necessarily lose their prime around 32. They can play at still a very high level at 35, 36, even up maybe to 37. But after that, it starts, no doubt, you start to dip and your role has to change on the team. And I think that, I think the organization is aware of that. The management is aware of that, and they're looking for solutions, and that's one of the reasons we brought in Sydney, because he is a fresh, someone who can give us fresh legs, and someone who's entering. He's 29, entering his prime. But we're kind of right now we're kind of like, we have players who are finishing their prime, and then we have the other side of it. We have really, really young guys who are still not entering their prime at this point. So you have to start adjusting at some point, and that's what I mean by we have to continue to stay up with the Talking Texas and the San Miguel's and things like that, because Talking Texas made a lot of changes over the last couple of years, bringing in Pori Edam and bringing in Williams, getting a top draft pick like that, and still having some of their vets like Ryan Reyes and Kelly Williams, and of course Jason. They've got a really good mix. San Miguel has brought in CJ Perez and Terrence Romeo and Mo Tautua. So they're slowly making that transition into being younger, and that's just something that again, our organization, our management is aware of, and we're looking at avenues to do that. But we don't feel at this point, we feel LA still has a lot to give. We feel Japeth and Stanley have a lot to give. So we're not pushing the panic button yet. But there's a realization that there needs to be done, and it's not that easy just to snap your fingers and do it.
Absolutely, I know that. In other words, you're not saying that this is urgent. It's something that will just happen right away, because we've seen how San Miguel is starting to break up their Death 5. They've already broken it up. So do you think that Ginebra is on its way also to that?
No, not necessarily. Not with our core players. I think our core players are still at a very, very high level, and but we do need some youth and athleticism. There's no doubt about it. And I mean, every team does. Every team goes through this. We won five championships in the last 4 years or something like that, and 2 out of the last 3 before this last one. So your team pays the price for that. And whether you're the old San Miguel Grand Slam team back in the late '80s, with Hector and Samboy and all those Ibes and all of eventually they have to change and they have to move on.
Right.
Alaska, the same thing. We had to do that with Johnny and JoJo and Bong, and now you look at Pure Foods, with James gone and PJ gone and Ping gone. That was the core of that Grand Slam team. And of course, Joe DeVance is there, and Joe DeVance is now, I think, 38. So, you do have to continually change that, but it's not that easy. There's usually a dip before you're able to get back to where you want to get to.
All right.
It's hard to stay up there all the time.
Let's talk about your Governor's Cup now, Tim. Obviously, you are the defending champions, and have the imports last season. Well, first of all, how significant is it for you to have the imports back and the Governor's Cup playing again?
Well, I can't think of anything more exciting than to have imports and fans back in the stadium. I mean, that was one thing that I just want to mention. I think that one of the reasons we got off on a bad, just to revisit the bubble just for a minute. We got off to a bad start, and we just had a hard time getting our energy up to a level that needed to get there. And people always in the first bubble, people always asking us, what was it like not playing without fans? And when we had a quick start, and we just didn't have that real sense of urgency to have the fans, because we had great momentum that we were generating ourselves. But when we lost that momentum in the bubble, the second bubble, boy, we really missed our fans then that I needed to have. And that's something we've always had with Ginebra. So the fact that we are coming from a down conference and now going into the import conference and having the fans back, for me personally, from a coaching standpoint, I mean, there could not be anything better. I mean, this is just incredibly exciting to have both back. And of course, our import is special. People bring back imports. We bring back Justin. it's a big difference. And it's not like every other import. So
That's a good way. That's a
coming
good
back.
way. And I want to ask you about Justin Brownlee. How is he? How is his condition? When is he arriving?
Your guess is as good as mine.
But has he been playing? Has he been playing before this?
Yes, I spoke to him a couple of days ago, and he, he played in Dubai during the pandemic, and of course he got COVID. He said 11 of his 12 teammates on the team got COVID when he was in Dubai.
Oh my!
And they just weren't that strict back then, and everybody was falling to the side. But since that, he's come home. That was last year, so he's been home. He said he's been playing in leagues around, but smaller leagues around the United States, just trying to stay in shape and keep playing. So he claims to be in good shape, and we were having trouble securing his visa, but apparently now we pretty much solved it, and he should be on a plane. Now, I just heard today, of course, that the quarantine has gone from 5 days to 3 days.
Right.
So I'm hoping that applies to the imports as well. And so now he'll come in and only go 3 days. We were really scared that we're going to lose him for another 5 days. But right now he's scheduled to come in on the 25th, but I think he's going to be leaving earlier, maybe this weekend, and we can get him in on Monday or Tuesday.
Coach, how do you see the fit of, now that this will be the first time that they will be playing together, the fit of Justin with Christian Standhardinger?
Well, Christian is a dirty work guy, and I think one of the things that we tried to do with him in the bubble, being in the All Filipinos, that we really tried to make him a true go-to guy. And he's really more of a dirty work guy. He'll do all the dirty work for you, and he's going to score, but he's not going to. If you force him to be the scorer, it's going to be more difficult for him. He's not a natural scorer. He's not going to shoot threes. He's not going to pull up for jump shots. It's really, he's limited to offensive rebound and putbacks and putting the ball on the floor and driving and running the floor, kind of like a bigger Rudy Hatfield, if I may use the thing. He's really a guy that plays with great energy, and he can defend just about anybody. And he's a great denial one-on-one defender. And we're trying to kind of, he's a round peg, and we're trying to put him into a square hole because we lost Japeth, we lost Scotty, so we were looking for scorers at the time, and we were looking for an inside presence. Now that he has Justin with him, and we have a healthy group around him, I think that he'll be able to play the role that best suits him, and I think there'll be a much better fit with someone like Justin around to take the scoring off of Christian, allow Christian to just do the things he does really, really well. Christian's a guy that does things really, really. He does a few things really, really well, better than anybody.
Yeah,
but he's kind of a black and white guy. He has the real strengths and he has other weaknesses. Like again, the lack of perimeter game. And you just have to play to his strengths.
He's got numbers to prove that. He's the leading rebounder in the league. He averages about 14 points a game. Of course, one thing that he's also very error prone. But again, that as you say, that he's not the kind of guy that you can force just to do many moves on the floor. But let me ask you, Coach. There are many things that obviously you'll have to work on in a very short period of time. How much of a concern is that for you, especially about getting real practice games in there?
Well, yeah, we're still not allowed to do practice games. So at this point, we've requested a couple of times. We had one scheduled against Alaska, but we couldn't get permission to do it. So, but I've never been a real practice game guy anyway. I mean, we might do 2 or 3 before conference starts, but I'd rather do this stuff in the practice gym that we want to get done in terms of drilling and creating habits, things of that sort. So again, the fact that we're back to 2-a-days and we can get a lot done when we're doing 2-a-day practices. There's a lot of heavy focus and concentration. I just believe in 2-a-days more than having one long practice. I think over a period of time, players lose their intensity, lose their concentration when they're practicing a really long time. So what we do is we keep the practices shorter, but we do multiple practices throughout the day. Give them a long 2 or 3, 4-hour break between practices so they can recover their energy, recover their focus, and we can go on again. And you know, and I've talked to all the players, and they seem to like this schedule that we have more than a normal everyday, you know, through the week type of schedule.
That's
so
good.
I feel like we're getting a lot done, and I feel like we're getting to where we need to be.
All right, we have about 4 minutes left on this interview, and so let me ask you, Coach. There are many fans who are asking so many questions, but who is the most intriguing import fit right now for you that you're going up against?
Wow. You know, I mean, there's a lot of interesting. Mike Harris is here. You know, and I mean, there's like 3 or 4 guys that have won import awards before. Paul Harris is here. It's going to be great seeing Paul. In fact, we're going to be practicing across from each other. He's with Phoenix, and Phoenix, and we kind of share the same gym. We have different courts, but we're in the same building, so we're going to see Paul. And of course, Paul was the one Justin replaced after Paul was injured.
Right.
Kind of like they call it the old Wally Pipp syndrome when Wally Pipp was replaced by Lou Gehrig, and then Lou Gehrig became, you know, the absolute superstar.
Legend. That's right.
Yeah, the legend. And of course, that's happened with Justin. Poor Paul. But Paul is a tremendous in his own right. And, you know, he can do everything as well, just like Justin. So, you know, Phoenix is really going to like him. And they have a lot of weapons over there. The beautiful thing about imports is that they take what is normally oftentimes your weakness on your team, and they make it a strength. And when they're able to do that, that's when the whole team, you know, levels out, and now you're competing for championships. And that's what Justin has always done for us. He's always come in and filled out a certain kind of weakness that we have, and elevated our game. And so that's really going to be the test of those imports coming in. Can they elevate the team? It's not about just coming in and putting up numbers. I mean, any import can come in and put up numbers. They're going to take a lot of shots. You're going to put up a lot of numbers. You're going to play a lot of minutes. You're going to get a lot of rebounds. It's not about the numbers or the rebounds. It's about fitting the right piece of the puzzle in your team and elevating the players around you. And that is what makes Justin so special. And in my mind, what made Sean Chambers so special, you know, in those years that we kept bringing him back. And so it's you know, you can bring in the superstar imports, but if they don't elevate the team by filling in the weaknesses of the team, they're not going to be successful.
Right. Well, you know, I have a lot of more questions, but I'll allow 2 questions coming from Ginebra Nation to come in here, Coach, because there were so many fans asking questions about when they found out I was going to interview you. The first question that they're asking is, who's the top 3 imports that you've ever handled in your coaching career?
Wow. Well, the top 2 are obvious, you know, Justin and Sean Chambers.
All right.
But it would be a lot of, I had a lot of other, Marcus Blakely was great. Rochelle Ellis was great. Derek Hamilton was great. I'm having trouble remembering Devin Davis. I remember him with the dreads and the gold teeth. He was awesome. I've had a lot, you know, I've been around for 30 years, and basically, you know, you get 2 imports a year, and then you change a few. So I've had a few really, you know, I had an opportunity to really coach some great guys. But really the top 2 is Justin and Sean.
I got another question here from Smart Heart, also from Ginebra Nation. Do you believe that a coach should continue to evolve in order to be successful, and how have you done that?
I've seen that. I saw that question on Twitter. And I saw them ask you that on Twitter, and I thought, wow, what a great question that is.
And I was going to ask that.
Yeah, you know, you got to keep up with the young guys. You know, the young guys are coming in with new ideas, and you know, they're constantly evolving. The game itself evolves. I take a page out of Eric Spoelstra's book, and that, you know, he is totally a learner. You know, he's just constantly learning. He goes and visits other people's practices. He goes and watches football, American football practices. He learned the pace and space from watching the University of Oregon Ducks football team. That's how he developed his pace and space thing with LeBron and with the three guys.
Right.
He did that watching that team. He spent 2 weeks with that team watching their practices and got it into his mind. So yeah, you're constantly evolving, constantly. You know, we've gone, you know, the beautiful thing about the triangle over the years, it was an evolving offense. But at some point we had to kind of put it aside and move on. And so we moved on and went to what we call a continuity offense. And now we're going again to another thing. And I don't want to tell anybody because then the other coaches will know, but you know, we're evolving into something else now. So yes, coaches have to evolve, and you're not going to stick around for 30 years doing the same thing you did in 1989 that you're doing in 2021. So yeah, you have to evolve, and so that's one thing I think you know, there's certain things fundamentally that you don't change because it's fundamental. Those things are unchanging, but you're constantly adjusting, evolving, and even the way you treat players, the relationships you have. I'm much different with players now than I was in the 90s. You know, so there's a constant evolving going on.
As a final question from the fans, the NBA has had rule changes in terms of interpretation. If possible, is there a rule in the PBA you would like to change in terms of interpretation?
In terms of interpretation, well, I think we need, and they're starting to. I think because the offense is getting such an advantage, I think the take charge rule has to be better enforced to give the defenses a better chance. You know, you also see what they're doing with, you know, guys like James Harden in terms of he's trying to initiate contact to create fouls, and the NBA is taking that away. And I think that the PBA has always done a pretty good job of that. But you know, that's something that they can continue to look at. But for me, it's the take charge drill. I think the take charge drill has to come back in a big way. Started to in this last bubble, and I like to see it continue to do more.
Well, as a final question, Tim, and I'm asking this also to the fans in terms of our Pulso ng Bayan. You know, obviously with Justin Brownlee coming back, you know, with a lot of things happening in your team and a lot of things to prove, you're the defending champion. Is Ginebra still the team to beat in the Governor's Cup?
You would ask me that. If you asked me that at any conference, I would say no. But because I just don't believe that you want to go into the conference saying you're the team to beat, because that puts yourself on a pedestal, and then you're not doing the everyday work. You're assuming things, and we don't want to assume anything. You know, I think after the way Talking Tex played, you know, obviously they're the best team at this point. I think San Miguel with Junmar now, you know, a few months removed from his injury, you're going to see a much different, much better Junmar. I think that there's some upcoming teams. Northport was, I thought, really exciting with Bullock and Monzon, and of course the addition of Greg Slaughter. That team was really
Arwin now.
And now Arwin there as a leader and a guy who can feed the ball to Slaughter like he used to Junmar. So he can be a big impact, plus defensively. You know, I think there's some teams out there that you know, Morocco's been emerging more and more, and then the young guys like Monzon. No, yeah, the kid at Terra Firma. You know, I don't think we haven't seen him because he broke his hand, and so he's going to get a full conference, and they picked up some guys. So I mean, there's a lot of teams out there right now. Chuck has his team playing the best of all of us. So until we can prove otherwise, I think the Chuck's team is the team to beat.
Well, I'm sure, you know, regardless of what you say, not only are the Ginebra fans hoping that you will be the team to beat, but I think a lot of people still consider your team as one of the best. And especially with you at the helm, Coach Tim, it'll always be a contender. It'll always be a disappointment if you're not in the finals. You are Ginebra, and of course, the fans will always be there. Hopefully, be back in the arenas to support Barangay Ginebra. Coach Tim, thank you so much for this fun time again, as usual. Very informative. Good luck on the season. Good luck in the conference. And I hope to see you in ASEA one of these days.
Well, I hope you bring me back because we won the championship and you want to talk to me again.
We will. Thanks so
All
much.
right.
So much.
Okay. Thank you. All the best.
Kaibigan, ang ating kaibigan, one of the best, the winningest coach in the PBA, Coach Tim Cone ng Barangay Ginebra. Wow, terrific interview again. Fine gentleman, and I'm really hoping that this season will be another fun time for the Barangay Ginebra fans. Alright, bago tayo lumipat po sa ating mga susunod na guest, muli tayo magpunta sa ating mga trending videos online sa larangan ng sports sa ating Stop and Pop. Ang second video po natin ay siguro ang tema dito is like father, like son. Ito po ang anak ni LeBron James. Hindi na kailangan ng DNA test. Sa windmill dunk pa lang ni Bronny James, alam na siya po ang anak ng one of the greatest basketball players of all time, King LeBron. Walang ka-effort off the backboard ang slam dunk ng panganay ni LBJ at kapansin-pansin din ang pagtaas ng kanyang paglundag. Yan po si Bronny James sa ating Stop and Pop. Wow, unbelievable. Pag nakita natin sa NBA yan at nagkasabay yung mag-ama, kasaysayan na naman ang gagawin ng mga James. Talking about imports, talking about American players, the Governor's Cup is coming, and of course, the imports are back. And we got to talk to one of the imports that will be coming to the Philippines to play. We caught up with Jaylen Bond 2 nights ago dito po sa ating In the Spotlight. His name is Bond, Jaylen Bond, at siya ang ating itatampok sa ating panayam sa Power and Play. Good day, Jaylen. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
You are coming to us from Philadelphia.
Yes, all the way from Philly.
My goodness, my favorite basketball city.
Yeah, a lot of history back in Philly. So I'm glad to be from Philly and represent, Philadelphia, just to play across the country. So looking forward to it.
I'm a big Philly fan. I follow the Eagles. I follow, of course, the Sixers.
Right.
Of course, Rocky Balboa and everyone else.
Yeah, it's a lot of history.
Such a great town. Before we talk about your personal stuff, you are going to be playing in the Governor's Cup, and this is the first time we will be having imports in the last 2 years. So everybody's excited. You've never been to the Philippines, Jaylen?
Never been to the Philippines. Always wanted to, though. I'm happy to, finally be able to play there now.
Absolutely. And this is your first time to play in the PBA. What have you heard about the PBA, Jaylen?
I heard it's a real competitive league. I heard the fans, love basketball there. That's something I'm looking forward to. Just to get out, just compete again, against the other Americans there, the other Filipino players there, just, blessed to have this opportunity just to continue playing basketball, doing something that I love. So looking forward to it.
You are actually one of the few new faces that are coming back. Most of the imports that are coming back are returning imports, returning foreign players that will be playing in the PBA. But of course, it's good to see a new face. You have shades of LeBron James in you, especially with that beard, Jaylen. It's good to see to get a first look of Jaylen Bond. Jaylen, have you known any other imports or personal friends of yours who have played in the PBA?
I had one high school teammate, CJ Aiken. I think he had a little stint over in the Philippines. I probably played against a couple guys that have been in and out of the Philippines. They all had positive things to say. Great league, great fan base, beautiful country. So everything that I'm looking forward to be a part of.
Like I mentioned, many of the imports that are coming back are veterans in this league, particularly four-time best import Justin Brownlee, who is actually, one of the top imports that are coming back with his team, who have the Ginebra Kings, which is the fan favorite. You have NBA veterans, KJ McDaniels, Moore, Paul Harris, Mike Harris, Brandon Brown, and of course, the latest one, a newbie, but an NBA vet, Shabazz Muhammad, plus many more. How excited are you to be playing against these guys here in the PBA?
Yeah, I'm real excited. Just looking forward to compete against them guys. Every guy you named are high level guys. I consider myself as a high level guy, so I'm looking forward to competing against them guys. Day in and day out. And hopefully we play well as a team, and hopefully we come out with some wins.
Are you confident playing against these vets? Because you're 28 years old. Most of the time we see a lot of imports coming here who are a little bit older, having played in many other countries, but you are a relatively young guy.
Yeah, I'm confident against anybody I play against, no matter where I'm at, across the world. I believe in myself and I believe in my abilities. So I'm just going to just play that the best way as possible.
Well, let me talk about your background now. Jaylen, as I said, you were born in Philadelphia, and you studied in Temple, which is the main campus is of course in Philly. Oh, there it is. Owls. All right. Who did you grow up? I assume you're a Philly fan.
Yes.
Who did you grow up idolizing from Philadelphia?
So basketball wise, it would definitely be Allen Iverson. He was one of the guys we looked up to. Him. Then also having the opportunity as Aaron McKee, he was my assistant coach while I was at Temple. Another Philly guy. Had almost the same path. Went back to Temple, played for the Sixers. Had a great career in the NBA. So those were guys I looked up. Within the basketball community in Philly.
All right. Well,
football wise, I was definitely an Eagles fan growing up, and I like Brian Dawkins was one of my favorite football players growing up.
Yeah, well, those are big names. I know Aaron McKee is now the head coach of Temple.
Yes,
that's right, and he was a terrific role player, of course, for the Sixers. In your family, how many siblings do you have, Jaylen?
I have an older brother. I have two younger sisters and a younger brother.
And are they all athletes like you?
They actually are. Yep, we all play sports: basketball, football, baseball, field hockey, lacrosse, track. We do it all.
Wow, the sporting family.
Yeah,
and are they?
No, so I'm the only professional right now. The other ones, my older brother, he used to play. He stopped after college. But I have another younger brother that wants to play professional. He's in high school right now, and he's pretty good.
Who was the most influential person in your family insofar as your basketball career is concerned?
In my family, I would say my mother. She pushed me. She had me, doing everything, taking me to all practices all over, games, just that consistent travel and just always being there for me. She was definitely the biggest part and the biggest motivation I had, growing up and just wanting to be successful, for my family, especially for her.
All right. Well, part of that, of course, your mom has been a big influence to you. But of course, as you were proceeding with your career in basketball, was there any particular player that you patterned your game from and who you idolized?
So on the court, I have flashes of vintage Chris Webber, 2001, 2000. Chris Webber. I liked growing up. I wanted to dunk like Vince Carter. And then, as I got older, I wanted to play like LeBron. Who doesn't want to play like LeBron? So as I got older, that's something I tried to, emulate his moves the best way I could.
Those are huge names in basketball, in NBA basketball, of course, and many of us know these names and, of course, idolize them ourselves. You played in Temple in your collegiate stint in the NBA, and that's a terrific program, of course. We know how great the Owls are. Played in the NCAA tournament as well. What was your most important lessons that you got from playing college ball in Temple?
I would say, don't take anything for granted. It goes by so quick, so you have to enjoy every moment that you have. Unfortunately, we came up short in our NCAA tournament. On a buzzer beater, kind of still hurts me to this day. But it's all a blessing, just to continue to just to play basketball and just to keep getting better and keep growing as a person and then on and off the court. That's something I take a lot of pride in.
Did you have any prominent teammates that moved on to the NBA or to professional basketball outside of yourself, of course?
Yeah. So I had a teammate, Will Cummings. He's doing well overseas as well in Euro Cup, Euro League every year. One of the best players, point guards overseas. I had another teammate when I was in at Texas, the school I went to before Temple. Another guy named Sheldon Mack. He played in the NBA for a little bit. He's actually overseas as well, playing in France. So a couple notable guys. A few of my other teammates, still chasing their dream overseas as well. A couple guys in the G League as well now too.
Well, you tried the NBA draft back in 2016. Of course, that was the year where Philadelphia picked up a guy from LSU, Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
The same class as you entered. Unfortunately, you are undrafted.
Yeah.
How that experience just going through the draft, and of course, do you still maintain that NBA dream?
Yeah, for sure. That's always, since I was a kid, the goal was always to get back to the NBA or play in the NBA. So that's gonna be my dream until I stop playing basketball. So I would never, start doubting myself or give up on myself. So any path or any route I have to take, to still attain them dreams, that's what I'm gonna do. So we're looking forward to, continuing.
Well, talking about paths, you have taken the international path. Of course, you've played in Italy, in the United Arab Emirates, and of course in Bahrain. How do you find, being a traveling pro in worldwide, traveling and really playing and assimilating a lot of cultures?
I love it. Just like you said, just to experience so many different cultures, doing something that you love, playing basketball, playing the game essentially, it's a blessing for sure. I don't consider myself lucky. I consider myself blessed. So just to continue to do that, experience different cultures, learning how different, people go about their day-to-day lives, different culture changes and everything is definitely something to get used to. It takes time to get used to, but I wouldn't change anything.
What do you find most pleasurable or enjoyable being a traveling pro?
Sightseeing. I love sightseeing. Going to the most popular places in each country that I visit. That's something I like to do a lot. Take pictures. I keep them on my phone. I have pictures on my phone of places all over that I've been. So hopefully, once I'm done, when I'm retired, down the line, I'll just be able to look back at all the memories that I made throughout my career, and that's something I'll be happy for.
Well, tell us a little bit about your favorite places you've been to, especially when you played in Italy and the UAE, and of course in Bahrain.
Yeah. So I would say so far, favorite place sightseeing wise would definitely have to be Dubai. That alone, growing up, I never thought I would go there, even on vacation, but just to go there and play basketball, and then just to go around, go to the deserts, different buildings that they have down there, and just to see how progressive they are and building new things every year. It's definitely a sight to see.
Absolutely, with all the beautiful scenery in Dubai, and of course all the majestic buildings that they've built there. It's one of the places to visit indeed. When you talk about traveling pro, and as an international player, what, on the other hand, is the most challenging part for you?
I would say being away from family, for a long duration of the time. I'm a real family-oriented guy, so I enjoy that family time I have while I'm home. But they all understand that this is something I love to do. This is something that I wanted to do since I was a kid. So they all are very supportive in anything I chase to do. So I would say that's definitely the most challenging part, just being away from them for a long duration of the time.
What about the food, Jaylen? Were you able to adjust to all the food that you've been to?
Yeah, I would say I don't really have a tough time finding foods that I like. I'm not really a picky eater, so I'll be able to find something anywhere, and I'll be able to enjoy it.
Well, I hope you're adventurous, because the Philippines is a melting pot of a lot of very good dishes, and I hope you certainly try out many of our local dishes here in the Philippines.
I'm looking forward to it for sure.
The last time you played was in Bahrain, about in 2020, and it's been almost a year since then. How have you kept busy? How have you kept in shape? You look like you're in terrific shape, Jaylen. And you are about 240 pounds. That's your fighting weight, as I've read. And how have you kept that sharp during this pandemic?
Yeah, just working out dailies. I have a few friends that are trainers, so I'm in the gym with them, in the weight room with them. Just trying to stay fit, trying to stay ready. For this upcoming season. Like you said, it's almost been a year since I haven't played a game, but that's why I'm definitely looking forward to get back out on the court and compete with my teammates.
All right. Well, let's talk about your teammates and your team, the upcoming team that you will be joining, which is the Blackwater Bossing. I'm sure you've tried to read up on your team. They've had a very challenging last two conferences in the PBA, and they hold, of course, one of the most unpopular records, which is a dubious record of 19 straight losses, which they're trying to snap. Does that concern you at all with a rebuilding team, that you're joining a rebuilding team, a new coach, several new players, and of course, that dubious record of 19 straight losses?
Yeah, it gives me extra motivation for sure, just to get that first win out the way. Something that I'm going to work hard for. I know my teammates are going to work hard for as well. And we just come together, continue to build up chemistry, and hopefully that translates into a win for us.
Your coach, your current coach, the guy who coached you has said that you can practically guard any guy on the floor. You are a guy who takes pride in his defense. Jaylen, what do you bring to the table for Blackwater?
Just somebody that's going to play hard, that's going to compete on both ends of the court. Just going to give my all every time that I'm out on the court. I got it, that's for myself. I know that to be the best player I want to be, I just got to, lock in defensively and be able to score offensively as well. So things that I'm looking forward to. So
can you describe your game for us? For the fans who are eagerly waiting your return or your visit to the Philippines. Do you play inside? Are you physical? Do you like to shoot threes? Are you 3-and-D? Describe your game for us here, Jaylen.
I would say
Yan po mga kaibigan ang panayam natin kay Jaylen Bond. Medyo naubusan tayo ng oras, but again, he said that he's a guy that's very excited to play for Blackwater Bossing. He's a guy that can play anything that his coach wants, and of course, makikita natin na yung physique nito si Jaylen Bond ay napakaganda. Obviously, one of the imports to watch out for in the coming Governor's Cup. Talking about the Governor's Cup, ang ating pinulsuhan ngayong araw pong ito ay tungkol sa Governor's Cup. Ang Ginebra ba ang team to beat pa rin sa darating na Governor's Cup? Ang sabi po ni, medyo may mga nagpadala sa atin ng komentaryo, sabi ni Dabs Alvarez ng Maasin City, Southern Leyte, para sa akin, champion pa rin Ginebra ngayong darating na Governor's Cup dahil nandyan pa rin ang balik-import NBA caliber, proven and tested na si Justin Brownlee. Ginebra pa rin, never say die, pero give credit to other teams, very talented, competitive imports. Manaki J. Rafael Lapid, sabi niya, Com, NLEX, TNT, and Meralco will be strong contenders for the upcoming PBA 2021 second conference. From Mel Santos, sabi naman ni Mel Santos, SMB, Brandon Brown, champion. Sabi naman ni Roel, hindi ko makuha yung family, parang sabi ni Roel, para sa kanya, Magnolia, SMB at Ginebra. Puro San Miguel ang mananalo. Malalaman po natin yan. Malapit na ang Governor's Cup, and we certainly are looking forward to a wonderful conference with the imports back in town. All right, dyan po magwawakas ang ating show this morning mula sa ASEA Beach Resort in Subic Bay, Freeport. So again, nagpapasalamat kami sa lahat po ng tiga-ASEA, si Ma'am Melissa, si Chef Linda, si Ma'am Dayan Narisma, and of course, paring Romel Sitin. Maraming salamat sa patuloy na suporta sa Power and Play. Ginebra Nation, thank you for joining us also and supporting Power and Play. Sa inyong pong lahat, tuwing Sabado, lagi nating sinasabi, Bawal ang masungit. And of course, sa lahat po ng ating gawain, ad maiorem Dei gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Ito po, kami po ang 1PH teleserbisyo para sa Pilipino. Happy Sports Weekend mga kapatid! More power, more play.
Sa kapwa ko Pilipino, ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilantad ang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko, para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na at magpapatalo, ipagdiwang natin ang Pilipino. Yan ang Pinoy. Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ang bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. Saan man tayo sa pulot, sumbesibay, lakay, paniga. Sama-samang pakita, ang galing natin katropa. Sa kapwa ko Pilipino.